Okay. Good morning. I don't know if anybody's listening, but it's being recorded. A good year to everybody. I don't know where you guys are up to, but I'm going to start on Sadaf Aleph on the base, 3 lines from the bottom. Rami Bar Chama said, Ruvain Shemacher Sada L'Shimon Shlobach Rais. Ruvain sold his field to Shimon without a rais, meaning that if Ruvain, a creditor of Ruvain, came to Shimon to take the field in payment of Ruvain's debt, Shimon cannot go back to Ruvain and get anything back. The also Shimon, and Shimon came back, the Machra the Ruvain, and then he sold the same field that Ruvain sold Shimon. Shimon came back and sold to Ruvain, but when he sold it to Ruvain, he sold it Bachrayas. So now Shimon, if a creditor so the Gemara is going to discuss this on the top of Tzadik Beis Aleph, the Asa Ba'chov de Ruvain, and a creditor of Ruvain came, the Katoref Leminei, and he took it away from Shimon. So Dinhu, the halacha is the Azul Shimon umefatzile, that Shimon can go back and claim from, since he sold the field back to Ruvain with a rice, he can go back and claim the field back from Ruvain. Amar le Rava, so Rava said, Nehi de achrayis diama kabale. That's what it means that he said, I'm selling you the, Shimon said, I'm selling you the field of achrayis, meaning that if I, Shimon, have any creditors and my creditors come to take the field away from you, then you can come back to me for payment. But achrayis and nafshe mi kabale, who says that I accepted that your creditors coming taking away a field? I didn't accept that, and I can come back. And you can't come back and take the field away from me. Umoida Rava, and Rava is Moida, Ruvain Shioresh Sodom Yaakov. Ruvain yarshins a field from his father Yaakov. Umachara l'Shimon Shelo Bachrayis. And then Ruvain takes this field that he got from Yaakov and sells it to Shimon without a raya. So Shimon cannot go back to Ruvain to get payment if the field is taken away from by a creditor. The also and the creditor Shimon, the also Shimon umachra the Ruvain, and now Shimon went ahead and sold the field back to Ruvain. Umachara the Ruvain Bachrayis, and he sold it to Ruvain Bachrayis. The also Ba'chov the Yaakov, and now a creditor of Yaakov, who was Ruvain's father, who he yarshin the land from, came the Katorech Leminei, and he took away the field from Ruvain. All right, so now Ruvain should be able to come and collect, because since Shimon sold him back the field with achrayas, so he should be able to go back and collect the field from him. That's what the Gemara says. Dinuhu the Azul Shimon umefatzi leminei. Shimon can, the halacha is that Shimon can go back and collect the field from him. My timer, what's the reason? Ba'chov the Yaakov ka Ba'chov the Amahu dummy. That the Ba'chov of Yaakov is like a Ba'chov the Alma, and that's included in the achrayas that Shimon, when Shimon sold the field back to Reuben achrayas, that's included in that achrayas. Okay, so now the Gemara says another case. Amar Rami Bar Chama said, Ruvain shemachar sada l'Shimon b'achrayas. Ruvain sold a field to Shimon Bachrayas, v'zokav alav b'milva. And Shimon did not pay Ruvain money for the field. He said, I am going to take a mortgage on it. I'm going to pay you it as a loan. And then Mace Ruvain. And Ruvain, the seller of the field, now dies. So now Shimon has the field, but Shimon owes Ruvain the money for the field. So also Baal Chov the Ruvain, so a creditor of Ruvain comes for Katoraf Le Shimon, and now he wants to claim the field from Shimon. Shimon now has this field that Ruvain had, and since this creditor was a creditor of Ruvain, he can take the field back. But Ufaisu Bezuze. So Shimon just said, I want to keep the field. So what am I going to do? I'm going to give this creditor of Ruvain money, and I'll pay him off. And now I can keep the field. And then I'm going to go back and collect and get the money back from Ruvain. So the Gemara says, Dinahu da Amri le b'nei Ruvain. So the children of Ruvain, because the Gemara said that the case was Ruvain died. The Dinahu da Amri b'nei Ruvain, the children of Ruvain can say, how are you, Bob? How are you, Bob? So the children can say, okay. So I'm on Tzaddik base, Amud base. About halfway down the dot. Okay. So Dinahu the Amre b'nei Ruvain, the b'nei Ruvain can say, Ona metaltale shava gavicha gaba. Our father Ruvain, who died, and who was the debtor, okay, he didn't leave over, he sold the land. That's the only piece of land he had, all right? But he left us over the Yisraelim, he left us over money, all right? So all we have is money. And metalta the yasmi lebal chov lo mishabde. And money, movable articles, are not indebted to the Baal Chov. So the Baal Chov, if the Baal Chov came to the inheritors of Reuven's estate, they could have told him, look, yes, our father owes you the money, but all we have is money. We don't have any land, and you can't collect money from us. That money is not indebted to you. So now Shimon went ahead and paid off his money to keep the field. So we could, right? He still has to pay the loan. You know, somebody has to pay. We are entitled to the field. All right. So Amar Rava. Rava says, so if Shimon is smart, if Shimon is smart, Magbi le nahale ara. What Shimon should do, you're on the move.
I'm the only one on?
Okay. Okay. So what Shimon should do is magbele nahale ara. What he should have done is paid to Ruvain's creditor the field that he fought from Ruvain, which is indebted to Ruvain's debtor, pay the field back, right? Then now, since he paid the field back as a loan, and Ruvain sold Shimon the field with Achrayas, so Shimon can go back to the Ruvain's estate and collect the money. Gabe le minayu. Then he can go back and collect the estate from them. Could Rav Nachman, Rav Nachman, Yesoimim shegavu karka b'choivas aviyim balchov choser ugova oso mehem. Okay, Amar Rabba. The Gemara now brings another case. Ruvain shemacher kol sadasov sodaav the Shimon. Ruvain has a lot of fields. He sells all of them to Shimon. All right. The chazer Shimon umachar sada achas leib, and Shimon goes ahead and sells one of the 5 fields from that he bought from Ruvain to Levi. Okay. So the Gemara goes on, the asa bal chol de Ruvain, and now the creditor of Ruvain comes to collect his debt. All right. Ruvain doesn't have any fields because he sold them all to Shimon. All right. So Shimon is now in the place of Ruvain. Ruvain's creditor can come to Shimon and say, give me the fields. Can he go to Shimon or can he go to Levi? That's what the Gemara wants to know, right? Does he have to go first to Shimon or can he go to Levi directly? So the Gemara answers, Rotza mizagova. If he wants, he can go to collect from Shimon. Rotza mizagova. If he wants, he can go and collect from Levi. Okay. V'lo omron ella dezabna zibubenis. This halacha that Rava said is only talking about where Shimon sells to Levi a field of baininus, a middle value. There are 3 different types of fields. There's the idius, which is the best. There's baininus, which is the middle value, and the zeburius, which is the worst. And the halacha is that a baal chov, a creditor, can collect from baininus, from the middle value property. So if Shimon sold to Levi a piece of property that was the middle value, so then the baal chov of Ruvain could go to Levi and say, hey, you have a piece of baininus property from Ruvain that you bought from Shimon. I can go collect it from you, right? Avol zavna idius zeburius. But if Shimon sold to Ruvain, to Levi, a piece of property that was not very good, inferior, or the best property, and that the baal chov cannot come and collect from, if the creditor has if the debtor has other properties that are baininus available, the matzi omerle lahaki tarchi mizvine ara the lo chayiksa loch. You can't come to collect from me. I bought a piece of land that's good value, the best value, or the inferior value. And you don't have a right to come to collect it from me. Go collect it from Shimon. He has the baininus. Ubaininus nami, even where Shimon sold him a piece of baininus, and Shimon has also a piece of bane in this left, okay? Lo omron ella the lo shavak bane in the. That's only talking about where Shimon sold Ruvain the only piece of baininess, and he has nothing left that's of middle value. Okay, going on to the top at Sadik base, base, Abel Shavak baininess. But if Shimon sold a piece of property to Levi that was baininess, and he also kept from all the properties he had that he bought from Ruvain a piece of bane in this property. Motze Amrle, so Levi can say to the Baal Chova Ruvain, Hinachta lecha mokum likvos imenu. I left you a place to go collect bane in this from. Why are you coming to me, Levi? Go to Shimon. Shimon has a piece of baneness. Go collect from him. Okay. Amr Abaya. So Abaya says another case. Ruvain shemacher sada l'Shimon bachrayis. Ruvain sells a field to Shimon bachrayis. All right, meaning that if Shimon, the field was taken away from Shimon by one of Ruvain's creditors, Shimon can go back to Ruvain and get his money back. The Asa Baal Chov de Ruvain, and a Baal Chov of Ruvain came, the Katorach Lemonade, and he took it away from Shimon. Right? So now, Dinahu, the also Ruvain Mefatzile. The halacha is that Ruvain, even though Ruvain's Baal Chov can go directly to Shimon, because he bought the field from Shimon, he collect the field, but the halacha is the Azul Ruvain and Mafatzile. Ruvain should go directly to the Baal Chov and say, okay, let me deal with you, let me pay you off. Either with money or you're going to take the field or whatever, all right? But let him deal with it. Ruvain instead of Shimon, all right? The Dina who the also Ruvain and Mafatzile, because Matzi Amarle la bal devora mi didia, and you can't. The creditor can't say, "Hey, I don't have anything to do with you anymore, Ruvain. You owe me the money, but I'm trying to collect the field from Shimon who bought it from you, and that's where I'm going to get my money from." So you can't say that. He has to deal with Ruvain. Mishum Damerle, because Ruvain could say to him, the mafafka mine olai hoder, because if you take the field away from Shimon, he's going to come back to me to collect it, right? He's going to come back to me and say, okay, you sold me a field, your creditor took it away, pay me. So therefore, let me deal with you and let me pay you off the way I want. Okay? All right. And some say, afilu shelo b'achrayus, even without achrayus, nami the amr lei lo nicha li the tahavi the Shimon trumas alai. Even if he sold the field to Shimon without achrayus, so Shimon can't go back to him, but still, if the field is taken away from Shimon, Shimon is going to come back to Reuben and say, you know what? I'm not happy. I mean, because I'm holding the stick proverbially, right? I can't go back to you to get the money, but still I'm out. So Reuven doesn't want Shimon to be angry with him, so he'd rather deal with the creditor himself. Okay? And now the Gemara says another case. Amr Abai, the last line of Tzadik Beis, a base, Reuven shemacher sada l'Shimon shlo b'achrayus. Reuven sold the field to Shimon without achrayus. The Yatsu Alav on the top of Tzadik Gimel Omen Aleph, Asikin. And Asikin is Oren. claims. All right. People came and said this field never belonged to Reuven. All right. There was a title search done, and they found that Reuven never had title to the land. So there were people that claiming this land was never Reuven's, and Reuven sold it to Shimon. All right. So the Gemara says, so we know that one of the three ways you can acquire land is by kesef, paying for it with money, shtar, by giving a shtar, or chazaka, making a chazaka, even a chazaka 3 years, or going into the field and building something, showing your ownership. So if Shimon had not made a chazaka in the field, so he's really not acquired it yet. If he hasn't given any money and he hasn't given a shtar, so the only kinyan he has to make is a chazaka, and he hasn't made a chazaka, yachol lachzerba. So then once he finds out that there's problems with the title, he can say, okay, I don't want to go through with the sale. Yachol yachzerba. But so the Gemara says, but if Shimon made a chazaka on the field, and now he hears that there's a problem with the title, and he already made the chazaka, eino yachol lachzerba. So then he's stuck with the field. I mean, he's stuck with the field. B'shum da'amrle chayisa the kitri savart v'kibal. A bag with ashes in it, you took and accepted. In other words, when you bought this field, you should have done your due diligence and made sure that Reuven has the title to the field. And since you didn't do that, it's your problem now. You bought the field. You have to deal with the fact that there's other people who claim that it's their field. All right. So the Gemara says, the Gemara wants to know what's considered a chazaka. The amos machzikba, when does he make when is it considered he made a chazaka? Mechidayesh a mitzri. When he goes and he starts to plow on the borders. In other words, he's showing some sort of ownership, that already is a chazaka. Okay? The Ika de Amre, and some say, Afil ba'achrayas, even ba'achrayas, even if he sold it to him ba'achrayas, Nami the Amri le ba'shalem lechal. I will pay you back. And we'll stop here at the Mishnah Tzaddik Gimel Omed Aleph, and we'll pick up there tomorrow morning with God's help. How was Yom Tov, Bob?
Okay.
How was Yom Tov?
And yours?
Baruch Hashem. Baruch Hashem. Okay.
Good. The weather is nice?
The weather is nice, yes.
Okay. Here we have rain.
Right. Well, we had rain too. When do you want me to start tomorrow morning?
I don't know. When were you ready today?
I was ready about 8:15, 8:20.
Okay. That should be good tomorrow.
Okay. All right.
Okay. I'll try to get a little bit earlier.
No, that's okay.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Oh, you missed after that?
We started before I got on 8:20.